What's up, gang? How you guys doing? I'm Lieutenant Sal Blue, 28-year law enforcement veteran. I'm all up in the camera. 28-year law enforcement veteran and the author of the top 25 mistakes en route to the good life. Coming at you with my daily podcast. It is Saturday afternoon, December 19th, right? It's almost Christmas. Christmas is next week, man. We're a week away from Christmas. And the reason why I'm doing this podcast today, I'm doing it early because we're doing a little event here at my home. But I'm doing it early because Christmas, right? With Christmas, let me get my lighting right, guys. Give me a second. So with Christmas brings emotions. Lots of emotions, right? Tons of emotions with people, and everybody is always going through the emotional process when it comes to Christmas, right? And a lot of times that process, that emotional process, is depression, man. A lot of people get depressed during the holidays. So when I think about people being depressed during the holidays, the first thing I think about is somebody learning how to grab a hold of their emotions, get a hold of their feelings, man, to figure it all out. See, in life, you may not have everything that you want, right? But I always tell people, if you're breathing today, then you can make a change today. You can make a change in your life. You can make your life better, because in front of you lies the opportunity. And it may not look like it right now at this moment, but I want you guys to understand that it is this moment that will define you 5-10 years down the road. So you got to learn how to control this moment, this feeling of emotion, this feeling of pain. And for a lot of people, it really, really feels impossible to do. And so I just want to give you guys some ideas of how I do it, how I've been figuring it out. Because, listen, we're all human and we all go through this emotion thing, right? And so I want you guys to know, right, you have to learn how to gain control of it. So my question for today's podcast, man, is it's a simple one. And the question is, do you know how to make yourself feel good? Right? Do you know how to make yourself feel good? Have you been working on this? Right? And trust me, guys, it is something that you do need to work on. You have to work on making yourself feel good. Now, just think about this for a minute, right? Just think about this for a minute. And think about my question. All you really want in life, right? Most people, all you really want in life is to change how you feel, right? If you're feeling bad, you want to change it to feeling good, right? You want to change it to having energy. You want to change it to having excitement. You want like the power of positive changes in your life, right? Because life comes at you from all angles. So you want to know how to change how you feel. Now, for me, right, being able to change my state, my emotions, my feelings, to a point of where I feel tons of pleasure, right, and very little pain, is, for me, my meaning of success, right? I always want to feel tons of pleasure, period. And who wouldn't? Who wouldn't want to feel tons of pleasure, tons of happiness all the time, tons of joy? And believe it, man, I have been working at this for a very long time. I wish I could say I was working at it all my life, but it is just something that no one never spoke to me about, right? Or they would just say, hey, you need to learn how to feel better. And they wouldn't even say learn how to feel better. They just would say you need to feel better, as if it was going to happen in an instant like that. And once I realized that it was something that you needed to work on, then my life changed. My life changed dramatically when I realized, okay, I get it. It is something that I can work on and get better at and be happier every day. So being happy, having tons of pleasure is my meaning of success. Okay. Now, for all of us, success, pleasure, happiness, the things that we use to bring us happiness is it may be different. It may be different for all of us. We're all different, right? But the end result is still the same. Period. You know, you're looking for pleasure. So the point is, when I'm saying looking for pleasure, is the point is you want to live your life in a way that causes you to feel tons of pleasure and very little pain, right? This is how you want to live your life. You don't want to just have moments of pleasure and moments of pain. You literally want to have it totally, completely weaved into your life, right? This is your lifestyle. You have a lifestyle of feeling pleasure, right? You have and avoiding pain, and that's it. So when I say this, I'm not. When I say pleasure, guys, and let me clear this up. When I say pleasure, I'm not in the mindset. I'm not talking in the mindset of toxic things for pleasure, right? Because you when you talk about pleasure, and if somebody is in the wrong mindset, they will immediately go to the toxic things that brings us artificial pleasure, right? Like drugs is toxic, right? And it brings you an artificial pleasure, which then afterwards, immediately after it wears off, kind of gives you some regret and tons of pain, right? Regret is pain. So that is not what you want to do. And also, it's tons of other toxic things that people do that bring them pleasure, such as some bad habits. And that is not the mindset that I want you guys in when it comes to pleasure, right? That is almost like cheating yourself from truly being happy. And I don't want you guys to cheat yourself from truly being happy. I want you to literally, truly be happy, all right? So that's what I'm talking about. Now, what I'm talking about here is living a lifestyle that not only brings you pleasure, right? This is for me, and for many people. A lifestyle that not only brings you pleasure, right, but allows the people around you to feel more pleasure and less pain. Now, you know, guys, over and over again, I never stop telling you that your environment is your destiny, right? And the people that you are around will determine literally how your life turns out. When it comes to happiness, this is no different, man. It is no different. So that means that in your lifestyle, it should be geared toward giving value, right? And if your lifestyle is geared toward giving value, and you're constantly working on being happy and being able to change your state to be pleasurable, then you're doing the same thing for other people. You're giving some value, and that value is giving those other people happiness instead of pain. It is teaching them ways to be a lot more happier and have a lot more pleasure in their life. So understand that. Okay. Now, I've talked about before, guys, as I talked about environment necessity, when you are around people who are emotionally happy, right, it is contagious, right? Happiness is contagious, and it is absolutely incredible to be around a bunch of happy people. Same thing goes, though. Same thing goes as your environment, right? If you're around a bunch of unhappy people, man, they tend to zap the energy out of your life, draw all your emotions down to the point of where now you're also baseline negative and in a lot of pain with the rest of the crowd, right? Misery loves company. We talked about this over and over again. Misery loves company, guys. So if you're around a bunch of miserable people, unhappy people, disconnect as soon as possible, because no matter how hard you work to raise your state, every time you raise it up, these people are going to bring it back down. So you have to pay close attention to that and understand that, okay? Because that's what happened to me many times in the environment that I was in. Now, throughout my experiences in life, guys, I have learned that it is not what happens to me, right? Because what happens to everybody. Things happen to all of us, right? That is just life. Life brings the thunder. When it comes to whatever your weakness is, life is going to be hitting at it. Whatever your strength is, you better strengthen it, because life is going to be coming hitting at it. So it's not what happens to me that matters, because as I said, these things happen to everybody in life. But the thing is, what makes the real difference is what I have done after these things have happened in my life. You know, after the tragedies have come along, after the heartbreaks and pains have come along, after the financial issues and problems have come along, you know, after the health issues have come along. When things come along in your life, right, the true determination of your happiness is what you do, right? What you do is going to determine your happiness and the level of your success. In life. So telling you what I'm telling you is that you need to be able to immediately and consistently change your state, right? So if something bad happens to you guys, it is okay to feel that emotion. You know you're going to feel that emotion, but you can't stay in that emotion, right? You can't start to love that pain so much, right, that you feel that you deserve to stay in that pain, right? You don't deserve to stay in pain. What you deserve to be as happy as possible at all times throughout your short journey on this planet, right? And so if that is the case, guys, you gotta begin to work on your happiness. You gotta work on your happiness, right? So you gotta be able to consistently change your state. And this is a skill. This is a skill that you must, under no circumstances, you must master the skill of consistently changing your state. Now, no one can master the state for you, right? You can't have somebody teach you how. Somebody can teach you how to do it, but is it something that you have to put into work, right? And because it is your life, it is something that you're going to be doing every day. It is your responsibility, okay, to make this right for yourself, to learn how to master the state of your emotions, to be able to handle things and then make the change, whereas you are back in pleasure mode as opposed to living in pain mode. Because the longer you live in that pain mode, the harder it is to get out of it. The same thing as the longer you live in pleasure and happiness mode, right, the easier it is to come back to that as your baseline. So you have to understand that when it comes to pleasure and pain, guys. Now, this may not come easy, and I get it, right? You know, so I see all the questions and everybody talking about how difficult this may be. But I want you to know that it's okay that it is not easy. It's okay, right? And the reason why it's okay that it's not easy is because this is your life's work, right? This is not something that you're going to get over the weekend. This is your life's work, so it is something you're constantly going to be putting in daily, consistent efforts, right? Daily, consistent efforts to make your life better, right? And as you guys know, nothing this good is nothing this good, right? You know, working and constantly working to bring pleasure to your life. Nothing this good is going to happen overnight. It's just not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen in an instant. It's not going to happen over the weekend. It is something that it is a lifetime of happiness. So there's no reason for it to come easy, right? Because then you won't appreciate the work that you have put in to make your life better. Okay, so that is where I stand as far as putting in the work to make your life better. And that is why for me, right? And that is why for me, and I suggest you guys do the same thing, right? Because I learned that this works a whole lot better for me, because you don't know what life is going to throw your way. I came up with a list of things that I can do to change my state, right? From pain to pleasure in an instant, right? So I've written down, and I now memorize them, and I know them obviously, and I practice them all the time, that my state goes down to a negative, and I use this to bring it back up to a positive. And so I have a whole list of things that I've written down to increase my state, to bring my state from pain to pleasure. And I can do it on a consistent, constant basis, no matter what is thrown at me in life. I always think back and remember, what can I do to change my state, right? So a lot of time I don't think about what can I do to make this situation better, right? No, I think of what can I do to change my state, because a lot of people don't realize this, is that when you're faced with problems and issues, right? If you're dealing with them from an emotionally depressed state or a painful state, it's very, very difficult for you to come up with a solution in that current state, in that current mindset, right? You're not thinking as clearly. You're allowing the thoughts to run around in your head, okay? And you're stopping yourself from gaining clarity on whatever situation has gotten you in that state. So the first thing you need to do is instantly change your state. Get up out of that state, right? Whether it's barking, clapping, music, whatever it is, get yourself out of that state, and then begin to write down and figure out the solution to the problem that you're currently dealing with. So I want to tell you guys this, right? The bigger the list that you have, the better. That's right. The bigger the list you have, the better, because in life we are exposed to several different situations and scenarios and environments that put huge demands on our emotions. You know, as I told you guys before, life has a way of finding the chinks in your armor. And when it finds it, man, it pries and it digs in there and it gets in there really, really good, and it's painful. So you have to find a way to quickly patch that up, okay, and change your emotion state, bring happiness. And the reason why I say this, guys, is because changing your state is a skill, right? And it is a skill you have to, and as a skill, what you have to do is you have to establish a set of habits, right? Things that you do each and every day, that when done consistently, they become who you are. And so what you want to do is, this skill that you're working on, you want to have a skill, the habits that you do each and every day that consistently bring you back into happiness. Okay, whatever it is, you start off your day, starting off your day that you can do that consistently, bang, brings you right back to baseline happiness. You know, you may wake up sad, you may have a bad dream, whatever, something happened the night before, and you let it marinate in your mind, and overnight, and you woke up sad. What can you do, bang, to consistently change your state? What habits do you have each and every day that you do that keep your state consistently in pleasure mode, in happy mode? So you want to consistently work on that, and you want to work on it to the point of you don't have to think about it, right? See, a habit is something that when you're doing it all the time, it is just something that you do and it happens automatically, right? You get cut off in traffic and maybe naturally you get angry, but then that habit kicks in and you start to sing a song, right? You start to laugh about it. You start to do mathematical equations on the license plates. I used to do that a lot of times when I get angry. I would just add up all the numbers until they come to 1 in the license plate. I know that's that's strange, but it's something that I did, and it took my mind off of being angry in traffic. You know, so that was important, especially because I used to commute and drive a whole lot. But whatever it is, man, it has to be a habit. That's something you do automatically that kicks in without you even thinking about it. And that is important. So some of the ways that I change my state in an instant for me, and this is on my list, and I have about maybe like 20 things on my list, but I'm saying, listen, if you could have 100 things on your list, it's probably even better, right? Even better. Because sometimes I tell you, just the 20 things on my list, a lot of times I have so many things that's going on emotionally that it takes a lot more effort to come up out of that than I initially thought about. So some of the things on my list that I do, and I in the morning I journal. I do a lot of journaling and a lot of writing. It clears my mind. It puts everything in perspective. I can see things on paper. And I don't type journal. I don't text journal. I grab a pen and I write. And listen, sometimes I'm so emotional, I write until the point of where my hand cramps up. But then at that point, I realize that I really exhausted and really gotten it all out. Okay. Another thing that I do is I work out. I do like a spin bike, or I do like a fitness class, or I do some weight training. Either way, I work out, and that emotion may be upon me, and within minutes of me pushing some heavy weight or building up a nice sweat, usually most of my fitness routines or spin bike is within 5 minutes, right? I'm already sweating and I'm no longer thinking about the emotion, whatever has got me down, and I'm starting to gain some pleasure from that I do. I found meditation works. Meditation works for me, to sit down and start to allow thoughts to pass through my mind like cars on a highway. That is one of the good meditation things that I do. Music. I love jazz, and I love just the sounds, the megahertz sounds and sounds of the water and stuff like that when I'm meditating. So I love all of that stuff, and that helps me. And also, one of the most important things that I love doing, guys, is podcasting. I love talking to you guys when I podcast, because what it does is it allows me to take my problem out of wherever it is, which is me. I'm dealing with it personally, and I set it out there. And now I'm looking at it from a distance, but I'm also breaking it down, okay, so that you guys can see the problem, and if it is a problem that you have been plagued with in your life, you can also solve that problem by seeing me walk through it in my podcast. So walking people through problems and issues in my podcast is a tremendous help for me when it comes to having ways of changing my state. So talking about it is very important. So talking about it to others has helped me dramatically to change my state, right? So as I'm saying this, guys, you guys have to have a plan. You have to have a plan, guys, because your failure to plan for pleasure will only result in significant amounts of pain, man. Significant amounts of pain for your future. You have to plan for it. It is not something that just happens automatically for everybody, right? If you don't plan for it, things are going to happen in your life. It's going to hit you, and you're going to feel pain. Period. And that is not something that I want for you. I want you to be living an extraordinary life. And in order to live an extraordinary life, you have to live most of your life with extreme pleasure. Tons of happiness, tons of smiles, tons of feeling good, and having tons of people around you feeling good, feeling extraordinarily happy with tons of pleasure. That is my goal for you guys. So you have to plan for this. Now, one thing you need to do, guys, is plan for pleasure every single day. Every single day. I suggest you guys write down your plan for pleasure every day. How are you going to start off your day to assure yourself that you are going to have the most pleasurable day possible? Right? What is your day going to start off with? Now, just like anything else in life, guys, just like anything else in life that is important to you, make room for it. Right? If pleasure is extremely important to all of us, and I know it is, make room for making a plan. Write it down. Take the time today, take the time today, write down your plan for pleasure tomorrow. And the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day. What are you going to do to bring yourself extreme pleasure today? What are you going to do what is your plan? Write it out. Whether it's waking up in the morning and working out, whether it's waking up and having coffee with a loved one, whether it's waking up and having sex with your significant other, whatever it is that starts your day off, boom, fantastic and excited, do it. Make a plan for it so that every day, okay, you're starting off on a high note. And make it a habit, guys. Make it a habit. Make it a habit so that everybody around you starts to come to you like bees to honey, because you are the individual that is generating pleasure for everybody around you. Okay, and I told you it is contagious. It is contagious, guys. It is contagious, right? I tell you guys, listen, please, I beg of you, don't just show up every day. I know so many people that just show up to life every day and they expect for everything to be done for them, right? They randomly show up, wake up every day, hoping that pleasure is going to find them. That's right. Wherever they're standing, they're hoping that pleasure is going to find them. And what I've seen over and over again in the years of my life is most likely pain. Pain is the only thing that seeks us out, right? Pain and heartache seeks us out at every corner of our life. Pleasure, we got to go get it. We got to go in there and we got to get it. We got to grab it and say, come to me, man. You're going to be with me all day. All day, we're going to be happy. We're going to be joyous. We're going to be feeling fantastic. And that is how I'm going to be living my life. And everybody around me, I'm going to put out enough energy so that everybody around me is feeling that pleasure as well, man. So, guys, go out there. Go out there and get yours. Go out there and get yours, man. Be happy. Be excited. And do it on purpose, man. Do it on purpose, guys. Just go out there and do it on purpose. That is how you have to live your life to get the most of it. So hopefully you guys have got so much out of today's podcast, and you're going to use some of the things that I said to make yourself happy, right? Get out there and make a plan and do it. Make it happen. So make sure you guys hit me up at lieutenantsoundblue.com. Go over there, pick up your free copy of my book, Top 25 Mistakes and Rounds to the Good Life. Pick up your free copy of my book. Okay, and tons of bonuses on there that I'm giving out as well. So you got my book, Top 25 Mistakes. I also have an audio book on there on the site and a coaching class. Whatever you guys want to do, let me know if you have any difficulties navigating my website over there, and I will make sure that we correct that immediately correct that. So hit me up at any of the social medias, all at Lieutenant Sal Blue. That's Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, Blogger, Reddit, and something else I'm missing here. But anyway, lieutenantsalblue.com, whatever you're on, give me a shout out. Give me a shout out. So I will talk to you guys tomorrow. You guys have a fantastic Saturday. Okay? Christmas is next week, man, so let's do it. All right? Deuces. I'm out.